There you go, Pitt. You've got like one little glimmer of justification.
Exposed! Lay him out naked upon the bricks for all to see.
Oh, kinky. Hello and welcome to the QUACKCAST. This is QUACKCAST number 513. I'm Ozone Ocean, and with me is Pitsy and Bainesy, but no Tansy.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So this week we're talking about masks. The Mask of Baines. We're talking about masks because Baines came up with this fantastic news post about wearing masks. And what's under the mask. And The Mask. Well, The Mask, that was an interesting film with Jim Carrey. So, we're going to be talking about masks. Oh, of course. That's about Boba Fett, yeah. No, we're going to talk about the Mandalorian. I think we're going to mention that because that's a super popular thing with masks and a whole sorts of other stuff about characters wearing masks or superheroes, whatever. But first we have to get into the feature. The featured comic is a comic where no one wears a mask, and it is called The Dragon Chapel. So, I'm going to be talking about that now. Hello, I'm Ozone Ocean, and my feature for the week was The Dragon Chapel. The lands were riven by catastrophic war, but the forces of evil were eventually crushed with the help of the great guardian dragon, Lord Dogoron. Though he was grievously poisoned, he survived, but his time grew short now, and his health fails daily. Soon there will be no one left who is great and powerful enough to ensure deliverance from evil, unless little Maria the cherub can deliver his egg safely. The egg of the one true successor. This is an adventure fantasy story with great detail and a good deal of comedy. It's all in black and white, drawn in a stylized manga style, and looking very professional. It's a lovely work. I featured the cover image with its bright colors and glorious looks because, you know, that's a great bit of work. But the rest of the comic is all in black and white. It's not in color, so I'm sorry for the bit of the false advertising there, but the line art is quite beautiful, and it may as well be in color because it's just so good looking. So this is a very good looking comic. It's most of the main characters are female, I think, which is rather interesting, especially our little cherub Maria. And it's fascinating to see how she uses her magic power because she's a cherub, so she's angelic. And just having her in the world just sort of reveals the existence of the angelic creatures, which is, rather interesting dynamic. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it. It's a great little comic. It's progressing well so far, and it's going down some interesting lines. So have a read of The Dragon Chapel by Bitter Badger, and it's rated M for mature. And that was the featured comic. It was The Dragon Chapel. Okay, so after that we have the featured music. Gun Wallace has given us a theme to a comic that I featured the other day, and it's called Way Out There. Are you ready? This techno ray bounces and burns its way faster and faster with the brute force of a Saturn V rocket balancing on top of several megatons of force. Exploding.
Oh my god.
Plasma ripping through the outer atmosphere and deep into the blackness of the deepest solar system, where the stars are brighter and lives are shorter. So take it away, Gun Wallace, with Way Out There. that was our featured music. Gumwallace has given us the theme to Way Out There. Okay, so masks. Well, Baines came up with this topic, masks, because he wears masks all the time. No, what?
Oh, we all wear masks in life, don't we?
We do. We have our skin masks on. But,
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
okay, so Mandalorian. I gotta bring up that.
Over our muscles full of blood.
Mando is like, no one's ever done a mask in a TV show or a movie before. That was the first time that anyone's ever done a mask and not taken off. Is that right? I'm being facetious, of course. That's Pitt's word of the day, but now it's mine. I've stolen it. No.
That's the second thing you stole from me in the less than 5 minutes into the show.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the skin masks.
Yeah,
Sort of-
skin
sort of
mask.
thing?
I said skin mask earlier.
Yeah.
You stole it from me.
Just like less than 5 seconds. I'm just stealing everything. But the Mandalorian with his helmet and his mask really sort of brings that back into the fore. You know, really brings that back into the popular dialogue, right? Because
Yeah, it's a popular show, and he's the main character, which I think is probably more unusual to have your main character obscured by a mask most of the time.
and it's a cool mask, you know. It's based on the Boba Fett mask, of course, that we all knew and loved from the original Star Wars films. Does Boba Fett show up in the Star Wars film, you know, the first one, or does he show up in Return of the Jedi?
I think in the re-edit, he's in the first one now. Just a silent cameo. But originally, he showed up in The Empire Strikes Back. So the Empire is like trying to track down, you know, the rebels, the little group, the Millennium Falcon, Han Solo, and Princess Leia are on it. The Empire is trying to catch them, and they can't. They bring in bounty hunters. How could you bring in these scum? And there's that iconic scene with like all the bounty hunters standing there. They're these cool-looking various characters, and one of them's Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And Boba Fett is the one who figures out where Han Solo's hiding the ship, and he catches him.
Yeah, he chases him in
sort
his
of like
ship.
he's this mysterious figure, and he's kind of got this threatening like armor on, and he's the one who catches them.
Trivia,
And
Baines.
then,
What's the name of Boba Fett's spaceship?
Slave One.
Yes. Oh my god. I don't know why it's called that. It's a stupid name, but
I don't know why it's called that either. That's a good question.
so,
Yeah, but you know, very powerful. That's what the idea was. Like the character is very powerful in their mysteriousness. You know, like you don't know what they look like in the original. And then he's again in Return of the Jedi. He shows up, and you never do see his face.
never. Not once.
in the original trilogy. No. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's just discount the prequels as just ridiculous. But yeah, you never see his face, and that's just, he's a mysterious, awesome character, and he doesn't do very much. But even so, he was a massive fan favorite way outside of his contribution. We loved that look and that character. And even before the Mandalorian came out, there's been, you know, you'd see photos of people cosplaying cons, and they're all dressed up as like Boba Fett style bounty hunters, but like millions of different variations, like people in bright pink, you know, armor, or red, or, you know, like camouflage. And it's just incredible. Like, you know, you'd see them, masses of them all together, just all cosplaying together in this this armor. It's just, and that was before Mandalorian existed, and now we have Mandalorian, and that's, I don't know, increased way more, I suppose, because we see all sorts of different Mandalorians in Mandalorian dressed up in that that cool armor, which is just looks so incredible, especially when well, we can't have spoilers, can we? Because this is a
Yeah, we don't need them. But I mean, the point being, like, it captures the imagination, like the character with the hidden identity, or even mostly hidden. Like, and you can sort of I don't know what it is exactly, but you can look at them and just like imagine. I don't know why it's so powerful, but like not seeing the face is like powerful on a cool, capable character, especially.
Yeah. Well,
and obviously, like slasher killers with masks, like that has been
Inhuman.
Started, I think. I don't know where it started, but made huge in Halloween with Freddy Krueger, and then also Jason.
Pinhead's my favorite character from Halloween.
Jason, the Scream dude. What's that?
Pinhead is my favorite character from Halloween.
Yes.
But just getting back to the Mandalorian thing, you were saying like he's an ultra competent character. He reminds me very much of the Goblin Slayer. I think that's what it's called. That was that super popular anime from 2019, 2018, I think. So okay. in there you have this anime character who never takes off his mask. You never see his face, not frickin' once. He's always helmeted. You just, see a glowing eye from inside the helmet. But he's very much the same kind of character as the Mandalorian. And you have to wonder whether there was some cross-pollination there. Because they're both, they both have this incredible competence, martial competence. No one can beat them. They both have this unwavering, one-eyed view of their goal. Whatever their goal is, it's just one-eyed. They're both not very competent and a bit naive when it comes to relationships with other, beings. I'd say human, but it's not necessarily human that they have relationships with. They're both like surprisingly caring. So many parallels between these characters. It's amazing. It's amazing when you get into it. But you haven't seen Goblin Slayer, have you?
No.
But if you do, you would recognize the characters being like almost identical in so many ways. I think Pitface, you've seen Goblin Slayer, haven't you? Oh, Pit's doing something else. She's hidden behind her mask and can't hear. But so surprisingly similar characters in a lot of ways.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, Mandalorian. So far, I'm enjoying it. I've gone through the first season. I'm into like maybe 3 episodes into the second season, or 2 episodes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm not sure, but it's a damn good show, and
nice.
He's amazing with the mask. But and we're saying it makes the characters a bit inhuman or something like that. That doesn't make them like robots though, because there's a couple of like droids or whatever, and you don't really think of them in the same way as you do the Mandalorian character. Like a C-3PO or something like that. One of those particular droids. Like you don't think of them in the same way, do you?
No, I remember there was an interview with George Lucas. Christopher Nolan was interviewing George Lucas, and he asked him about that. It never occurred to me to think about it. Like with the first Star Wars, like everyone's covered up in metal. How did you expect audiences? Like, how did you know the audiences would tell the difference between like stormtroopers or people in masks and the droids are robots? Like some are robots and some are people in costumes, and like how were people supposed to know the difference? I don't remember George's answer. I don't remember what he said, but it is interesting. Like you do know somehow in that first movie, you do know, it's obvious.
Yeah, you don't think the stormtroopers are all robots. Like that could be someone who's ignorant or didn't know much about sci-fi or sci-fi fantasy might look at that and naturally assume that other people should think that, but you don't. You never once think the stormtroopers are robots. You think that they're humans in armor, and you could definitely easily tell the difference between C-3PO and Stormtroopers or Darth Vader. Don't think that they are the same, even though they're all just men wearing masks in reality.
Yeah, it is neat. I thought of a character that Pitface would love. It just popped into my head. Do you know who Borak Sharak is?
No.
Okay, I'll send you some images. He's a Conan the Barbarian villain. And in the Savage Sword of Conan magazines, he would show up, and he was so awesome. Like, he's a vicious warrior, a match for Conan, and his face is always covered. And he has the physique that Pitt likes, the physique that I have, the type of thing that Pitt is into. So I'll have to send her some images of this guy. He's awesome. He's got this metal mask. As far as I know, you never see his face, and he's intriguing for that. Like, I always found characters like that really awesome.
Borak Sharak.
Face mask.
What about
Borak Sharak? I got to figure out how to spell it, and I'll send you some images.
The first thing that comes to my mind as you're talking about that is, what's his name from Mad Max? Now you've made me unleash my dogs of
Lord
war.
Humongous. I was just
he
going
got
to
like
say
a
that.
Lord Humongous.
Jason-
That's right. That's another.
Jason Masco, kind of.
That's my style. That's
Yeah,
doing.
totally.
So Lord Humongous looks like a freaking freak because he's just wearing like leather undies and this weird neck thing that goes up to this big hood, this face mask. Yeah, it's almost like, what's his name? Jason. Not Jason.
It's almost kind of like a gimp mask in a way.
Yeah,
but
it is.
to me,
Yeah.
anything that's remotely gimp mask, I like. So that might just be it.
Yeah,
But
he did remind me of Jason personally. Yeah, because I love Jason.
Yeah, no, that's true.
because of the gimp mask thing, though, it's weird in that, he's meant to be this big, powerful guy, and he's got this big chest and everything like that exposed. But then he's got the gimp mask, which emasculates that. Because that is not an empowering mask. That is like a constraining, emasculating mask. So it's a strange contrast. It doesn't turn him into a more powerful character. It doesn't make him a weaker character, but it makes him it just sends mixed messages about what kind of character he is. Because he talks a big, like, oh, I'm Lord Humongous and I will, to kill you or whatever. But, yeah, with that, the look that he has, it's more kind of kinky sexual than powerful.
Well, but to me, so I guess that all is in the eye of the beholder, because to me, that is about power. That type of thing. So it's very BDSM-y, which is about the exchange of power. And that, to me, that kind of mask does read to me as somebody who isn't just powerful, but they are obsessed with power. Power is their kink. Everything is about power. I mean, if you want to like super dissect that kind of mask, but that's just how it comes across to me. To you, that might be, like you just said, yeah, like the mask is constraining. The mask, it's, I don't know,
more
I
like
just kind of
something
read it differently.
a sub would wear than a dom. That's how I look at it.
He was scary though, the gimp. Like in context, I was afraid.
You mean the gimp from Pulp Fiction?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was very
But
scary.
you're speaking more in general terms of the mask. Yeah.
He was very scary, but then again, he was that was a submissive character. Like, doesn't make
He
him
just
less
stood there
scary.
giggling. It was kind of terrifying. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. A gimp mask can be, like, very scary. It's weird. Like, with a zip mouth and everything like that. Oh, my God. That's,
If that person was at my door, I probably would not open it.
Probably. you
Depending
probably.
on what they said. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, so those masks, you take them in a very different way from the Mandalorian mask, which is much more colder and clinical, because it's it's meant to be metal or plastic or whatever. It's just there's just that shield, that
Right.
plastic dark glass, and it's in a Corinthian style helmet. It's based on that Greek warrior Corinthian style. It's like inspired by that, which gives it that sort of classical cleanliness that you think of from those things from that world. And actually, I think the blacksmith in that the Mandalorian does wear a Corinthian helmet, with the eyes and all that kind of thing, the cheek guards. So yeah, that's interesting. Have you ever seen a Corinthian helmet?
I think so.
Yeah. So these are the classic Greek hoplite helmets, which are like almost fully enclosed helmets. The only real openings they have are for the eyes, and then just in the middle of the mouth here, because they have this great big nose guard and these cheek guards that come right over the cheeks, and they have these little openings for the eyes, and the eyes are kind of very stylized, very elfin looking, and they're amazing helmets. And they make someone, you think these helmets are what people wore, like, I don't know, maybe 3,000, 2,000 years ago, something like this, 2,500 years ago. People wore these Corinthian helmets, and they gave people an inhuman kind of robotic look. And the other thing about it is they made people sort of all match. They made them inhuman, but they made them anonymous, because you can't really see much humanity under these helmets. All you can see is the eyes and a mouth and a beard, and that's the only things you can see. So they would have made these people look quite intimidating and alien, and take away some aspect of their humanity and increase the uniformity, like stormtroopers.
Right.
So that's an interesting aspect, that people were doing this over 2,000 years ago. I think. I can't date exactly. I can't remember exactly when people started.
So they didn't base that on Star Wars, then, probably.
Of course they're based on Star Wars. Star Wars happened a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, so... That's
right. I forgot.
Yeah. So obviously those helmets have come down to Earth, and they copied them. Yeah. As Greeks do.
Finally someone made a movie about it.
And I think actually...
Another character Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think actually the Romans actually did wear full face masks. They say it's ceremonially, but we don't know. They could have been like in gladiatorial combat as well. But they wore full face masks that are like made to look like this beautiful angelic face, and it covers their face over the top of their, it's incorporated into their helmet. So you can't see them. They are just this beautiful face. They can obviously see through the eye holes and speak through a little hole in the mouth. But it was bizarre. And they had in the gladiatorial combats as well. They had I think they're called mermelins or something. Starts with an M anyway. Well, they have a special helmet where the face is totally covered, except they have little holes in the front of it. And they had this weird helmet with a brim and a crest, and they carry a trident, I think, and they have one arm armored, and that gives them a very inhuman, bizarre kind of appearance, and they're way more intimidating because of that. Incredibly scary when you see those people. Yeah. Anyway, go on. Sorry, Baines. You were talking about this other character.
Yeah, I was just looking up that Mermelin. Mermelin?
Yeah. Okay.
But I can't find it. That sounds really cool, yeah. No, I was just... yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. I was just going to start naming more characters. But, yeah.
I could be wrong in the kind of gladiator that was. But, Mermelo, maybe? Stylized fish crest. Yeah, it's a murmelo. That's it. There we go. That'll make our classical people happy. Anyway, yeah, so Star Wars is, of course, influenced by a lot of this stuff, and they've taken stuff from, the real world. And so, they obviously based their helmets on Corinthians and all this other stuff. I'm
seeing these Murmelo things. I'd say, that's really cool.
Yeah. So I was right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely the Murmelo. Yeah, so they look bloody intimidating, don't they, with those helmets?
They do.
Like, you think of the average gladiator, and don't look anything near as scary as these guys, who look like the typical villain in a lot of like Star Trek and all this kind of stuff. You always have the
right, yeah, they
big
do.
stuff guy, big tough guy, who you don't see their face and you think, oh, that's some like unthinking brute underneath there. So yeah. Anyway, other masked people. Well, you have that in like superheroes, of course. You have the masked superheroes. And they make a big deal out of it. So, like Spider-Man. There's a massive
his
deal.
face is always completely covered. Really cool, iconic costume.
And not only is his face covered, his mask really takes on more humanity than a mask should. Because, Spider-Man's mask consists of this red, blue, and white thing. Oh, it's black as well, I think. But so it has these gigantic eyes, and you think of a real person's eyes, and they don't take up much surface area in the face, do they? Eyes take up a very small surface area, but Spider-Man's eyes are massive, and they seem to move with his expressions, which is impossible to do for a mask. A mask could not do that, but the eyes move around, like they have these the eyebrow tilt and all that kind of stuff, which is ridiculous, and you think, what part of those eyes can his eyes actually see through? The whole thing, or, just...
Yeah, they take artistic license, definitely, with the eyes.
Yeah.
They do it with all masked characters. Definitely him, though. Like, it should not be happening the way the flexibility that his eyes have.
Exactly.
To move. They do it with Batman too, with the white in the comics, like the white eyes that are very expressive, and Wolverine as well, but have these super expressive like eye holes, just like the white eyes. Those characters in particular, I noticed a lot of expressiveness.
And they're normal eyes, though; they're not like huge giant bug eyes like Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah. So the Spider-Man thing is another level.
And it's Spider-Man. They make
not.
Oh, go
on. No, you can go ahead and expand.
Well, his mask fully covers his face, so it's not like a half mask like these other guys. There is no human face there.
Yeah.
It's just all his thing. He's one of the... There's not many characters that do that.
No, not many heroic characters.
Yeah.
For sure.
So
it does make it somewhat more believable that he would have a secret identity.
Exactly.
People didn't figure out.
I mean, Deadpool is the other big famous one that does that, but that was like many decades after Spider-Man, and you'd have to say it is largely a copy of the way Spider-Man is drawn and appears. The way Deadpool appears, when he came on the scene, because there's too many. It's too obvious that is the case. And he does the same kind of thing with the eye expressions as well, and, it's super exaggerated. But yeah, so Deadpool is the other big one, and he's a sort of an anti-hero in a lot of ways. And there are a few others, like the Red Hood and Deadshot, I think. I can't remember.
Deadshot, yeah. Dr. Fate, I think, has just a steel helmet. Just eye holes. But Deadpool definitely fits into it. He's wearing his. I mean, Spider-Man's always wearing his mask when he's in action, but he doesn't have the effect on the reader because we, the readers, know Peter Parker. We see Peter Parker. He's a lot more mysterious to other characters in his fictional world than he is to us, the readers. Like we know him. Ditto Iron Man.
Oh yeah, Shellhead.
Oh, Shellhead, yeah. So that does have a different effect.
Yeah, it does have a different effect. Yeah,
on the audience. I mean, yeah,
exactly.
Like Batman is like mysterious and scary to criminals, but we know Bruce Wayne. We see Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
we know who he really is.
Unlike Mando, as they call him, you never. Well, his face isn't a thing, is it? It's his helmet. Or the Goblin Slayer. It's the helmeted visage. That is how we know the character. If those helmets were removed,
or Doctor Doom, the classic villain, Doctor Doom, who hasn't been really in the movies yet.
Yeah, the man in the iron mask, Mr. Doctor Doom, who's obviously based on that kind of
fantastic
trope. Yeah, that is a really cool example of that. And you're right, he never has been in the films.
Well, he was in those Fantastic Four of the Fox movies.
But he wasn't really, was he?
But not really done well, yeah. So I'm excited to see what Marvel will do with him, actually.
Yeah.
Not excited about much with Marvel anymore, because it's kind of done. But they bring in Doctor Doom, like, I'm there.
Yeah, you're right, he was in the Fantastic...
He's a cool character.
Was he in both Fantastic Four? All of them, or just the first one?
I don't know. He's been in the first one of both times it was done, or every time it was done. He's their big villain.
Okay, yeah, because I remember him in there, but it wasn't the proper Doctor Doom, because we saw his face. No. Yeah, and he only wore the mask towards the end, I think. Just so freaking lame. And that's one thing that we can talk again about The Mandalorian, because that sort of made it okay to have your main character not showing their face and just to emote while wearing a freaking helmet for the whole time and not showing any part of their face at all. That's so cool. Unlike so many other things where the character is meant to be totally masked and you're not meant to show their face. There's this stupid old Hollywood idea of, oh my God, we're paying so much for the actor, so we should see their face. And also the actor's saying, if they don't show my face, how are people going to know it's me? And, how am I going to get other roles if, people can't see how well I act because my emoting is all of my performance. So
or even on a performance level, if it's not a celebrity thing, it's like, I want to be able to act with my face, like show emotion and show what he's going through and stuff, which is understandable, but it's like, well,
yeah, you're taking away some of the coolness of the character. Well, yeah, you're right. In those horror films, they always wear the mask and they don't take them off, and that works.
They'll take them off once. There'll be a big scene or it's a reveal, and you are very curious, but it's usually kind of disappointing.
Yeah,
because the mysteriousness is the real power.
It's not like, say, in the first Judge Dredd film with Sylvester Stallone, where he comes out looking exactly like Judge Dredd, and then he takes it off, and then doesn't wear it for the rest of the film.
You're going to steal another one from Pitface.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, we were talking about that earlier, and I think we spoke pretty mutually on it, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great example of where that. Now, I'm not sure if. Actually, I think that was more a studio thing, because from what I've read, Stallone was very much against anything that wasn't the Judge Dredd character. Like. There was people were saying, look, we want to make this change and this change. And he was like having hissy fits saying, no, I want the boots green because that's how they were in the comic. And people were making fun of him saying for it, people saying, oh God, can you believe this idiot making such a big deal out of it? Complaining about having green boots just because it's in the comic. And that,
look at that, eh? He was ahead of his time.
yeah, thinking about that, and you think about years later when people say, "Oh, Stallone ruined Judge Dredd," and you think, well, he actually didn't want to ruin it. It was the studio who really forcing that. They were the one who wanted to force even more changes. Like, I'm sure they wouldn't have wanted Rob Schneider. But anyway, we're not getting into that. Taking off
those old
the helmet.
wounds. Huh? Yeah, they're hard to heal. But like things are more comic accurate now. Like the stuff people really love is like way more comic book accurate.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think
that's kind of cool. Like Stallone knew what he was talking about that way back then.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the idea that we think of, we're always improving, we're always getting better, because often that's not the case. We do things now because it's popular and we prefer it. But I'm going to go back on that and say we are improving in that we are letting filmmakers and we're letting, creators actually go with their true vision of having characters completely masked up and leaving them that way, and having main characters masked up and having them, retain their comic costumes or their proper costumes without, changing it for the film version because the film guys don't think the audience will understand it. We're actually giving our audiences credit and being mature enough to let these creative choices stand now, which is a good thing. And that is an improvement that has happened, I think.
Yeah.
Which,
yes,
we couldn't have had back in the day. Because it was the rule. Like, it was the rule even that a character could not keep a hat on either. Like...
What?
Yeah, even though it showed their face... this is the reason why, say, in the film Troy, the character, none of them wear Corinthian helmets, because even though Corinthian helmets would not have been historically accurate, they're still accurate to what we think of the characters wearing. They're still accurate to the myth, and those characters are always depicted as wearing Corinthian helmets. But none of them wore them for the reason that the characters had to show their faces, and that was, the style of the time. But yeah, hats are another thing. Back in the day, characters would always take off their helmets or always take off their hats. And when I'm talking about helmets, I mean just on the top of the head, like an army helmet. Because you couldn't have a lead character with a hat or a helmet on. Unless it's like a cowboy film or something like that, But
yeah. What about the Lone Ranger? There's a classic masked protagonist.
Yeah, and he took his mask off.
Did he ever take his mask off on those old shows? Or?
Yeah, definitely.
Not that I remember.
Was not being in disguise, yeah. I'm pretty sure when he wasn't in disguise or when he was talking to Tonto. Although I might be wrong. And I accept that. I could be wrong.
So I don't remember him ever taking it off from what I recall as a kid seeing this.
You could be right. I loved The Lone Ranger. That was one of my favorite TV shows when I was little. Lone Ranger, he was sort of the English language version of Zorro, pretty much.
Yeah, very much so.
Copy the look.
Who was that masked man?
But Zorro, we did see him take off the mask because he had an alternate, identity.
He had a dirty secret.
The mask.
White hat was hiding. Yeah.
Well, he's Black Hat, actually.
No, I don't think so.
Zorro's a Black Hat. Lone Ranger was white.
Zorro, yes. I thought we were still talking about the Lone Ranger.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, did you see the film with Johnny Depp?
No.
Nor did I. Who has seen that? No one. Yeah, so Zorro, the El Kabong, which is of course the best version. You know El Kabong, of course.
No. Dr. Bong? Is that the Howard the Duck villain?
No, El Kabong. It's Quick Draw McGraw with a mask. and he would hit people with a guitar, and he would go El Kabong, and that would be his attack. Don't know this. My God, the holes in your comic knowledge. Well, this was a
cultural wasteland.
Yeah, so this is a cartoon with frickin' Magilla Gorilla, all those characters. I can't even remember. You know, that bear.
The wacky races.
Yeah, those characters. Ah, well, okay. So no one remembers El Kabong except for me. I feel embarrassed. All right, so yeah, masked characters. The Mandalorian is paving the way, showing us the way of how you should do it with masked characters.
This is the way.
Yes, I did. That was not even deliberate. Thank God you picked that up, man.
Another great one, captivating. He never spoke, and you never saw his face. I think something happened to. Eventually, they gave him a backstory where something happened to his face. Was Snake Eyes in G.I. Joe.
Oh, is he the baddie?
All in black, completely black outfit, like a ninja. He had ninja, like martial arts fighting abilities. And just a black suit, a black mask, and goggles.
Oh.
The Black Noir in The Boys looks a lot like Snake Eyes.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
He was really cool, you know.
So he was...
And of course he became the most popular breakout character in G.I. Joe.
So he was a good guy?
Yes.
Because the bad guy didn't show his face was Cobra Commander, I think?
Yeah, he had the steel plate over his face, that's right.
Yeah.
Or no, he had a cloth mask, and then eventually he had just a helmet with not even any eye holes, just like a steel plate.
Yeah.
More like Dr. Bond.
Well, a Shredder, of course, is another character like this. You know, we all love a Shredder.
It's a great one for villains. Or who was the Battle for the Planets that nobody except you and I knows about? Zoltar. Was he completely covered? And there was a hint that maybe Zoltar was a woman.
I don't know. Zoltar
was a huge,
No, you saw Zoltar's eyes. Zoltar had a pointy chin, kind of weird face, like trans.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, you don't know. And I think Zoltar was trans.
Oh, is that right? Is that what it was? Oh, okay, they were way ahead of the curve.
Yeah, they were, in some ways.
Yeah.
In others, not so much.
Casting them as the bad guy, but...
Oh, yeah, that's true, yeah. Maybe not way ahead. But they were somewhere. Maybe I'm thinking of Dr. Claw. The camera that hit his face.
You never saw his face, yeah. We don't even know if he had one or if it was just an arm attached to a chair.
Exactly. I remember when they released toys and he was like just this old man.
Oh,
like, what? This is like old man with crazy white hair.
It's Darth Vader all over it.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that was super weird. I remember seeing that in the store. I was like, wait, did we ever see that face? What the hell was that?
So that's another aspect of why you shouldn't show the face, because the other part of it is if you don't reveal something, then the audience has to create their own version. So you imagine them to be cooler than they are. And revealing that removes all that coolness. Like, for The Mandalorian, you hear this voice, you see him moving around, you imagine he must be some cool cowboy dude. You know, some super competent
or he's just
MacGyver.
Anything. Yeah, like you have no way of knowing. He's just...
It's whatever you want him to be.
Anything.
I like to imagine he doesn't even have a face. I like to imagine that's just his head.
Yeah.
He just eventually when he takes off the helmet, there'll just be nothing there.
Or maybe it's like a slim little girl or something. No.
It's like when you take the head off of a Lego character, but the head is like stuck up in the helmet thing that you had on. Maybe that only happened to me. But
oh no, I think we all did that.
I had a favorite one, and his helmet got stuck on him. And you know what? He was like I just said, he was my favorite one, and I kept that helmet on him all the time to the point where I could never get it off. I didn't care; it just made him my favorite because I could never see his face, and he just came across as just a really cool guy that always wore a motorcycle helmet everywhere for some reason. But But yeah, when you take the heads off of these characters, the head just comes off with the helmet like a Lego character.
That's great.
Oh, another good one. There's this
maintains the mystery.
There's this anime called Durara. It's weird, but the most popular character in Durara, and the one they use on the covers and everything, is this girl called like Sylphie or something. I can't remember, but she's a Doulahan, which means pussycat talking. So she's a Doulahan, which is like based on this Irish mythological character who rides a horse, and they're headless. And so she's in modern day Japan. She's riding a motorbike, and she doesn't want to freak people out, so she uses her body to make a fake head. So she's always wearing like a motorcycle helmet, and it's a really cool motorcycle helmet with like pointy cat ears on it, and it looks so awesome, and she's wearing it everywhere. And it's just, you look at that character and you think, wow, she is amazing. And she has got apparently a real head in a jar somewhere, and you just think, oh my god, it would be so like so much of a letdown if you ever saw her real head and her real, mouth and, mouth moving and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like it's like that horror thing. Like, what's behind the door, or what is it that's terrifying you? You usually want to reveal it eventually, but it's the imagination that's the real power of it. And it could be, the reveal could be awesome, but it's also going to be not as powerful as when it could have been anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's using that, and that's okay at the end. You want that rush, that payoff at the end, but milk it.
Yeah, unless you're going to do something
as long as you can.
Yeah, unless you're going to do something clever, like the Star Wars thing with Darth Vader. So that was a clever thing, because by taking it off the
that was right at the end too. So that's
No, it was in Empire Strikes Back, I think.
Well, you just see a little bit. You see a little bit of marshmallow from the back, though.
You get a glimpse of it.
It's like, what? Yeah. It's kind of horrific, but you can't really see it that well.
But I think that was a very powerful thing, because instead of trying to live up to the thing, or trying to show some really clever, handsome, muscular guy underneath it, they've subverted it deliberately. So they're not failing to live up to something. They're just going in a completely different direction. And when you want him to put the mask on,
if you took it off and it was just a normal, just a normal guy under there, that would have been.
I wouldn't let down. Or if it was, David Prowse under there, it'd be, he'd look like some eagle-faced, tough muscle man, sure, but that wouldn't be as cool as whatever you were imagining. Like, it's realistic.
R.I.P. Didn't he just pass away?
He did.
A month or two ago. Yeah, as did Jeremy Bulloch, played Boba Fett.
Yeah, all
just
the
died.
Star Wars people.
So this episode is for them. Those masked icons.
And Sebastian Shaw, the forgotten Darth Vader.
Yes.
Anakin.
I watched a reaction video for Return of the Jedi, and I didn't even know that they stuck Hayden Christensen in there.
Oh God, it's so
over instead of Sebastian Stan. Oh man, it looks bad.
Yeah,
that's not right.
It is so bad. The less said, the better. I'm not going to go on about that.
So weird what happened to that. That's like, it's so strange. Yeah, but
imagine that.
You can't see the originals anywhere in those movies.
And that is what's a spoiler here. That's what's underneath the Mandalorian mask. It's Hayden Christensen.
Hayden Christensen. Yep.
All along. All right. Well, we better wrap that up now with that huge reveal. Now everybody knows.
Bombshell.
Exactly. Thank you very much for listening.
I'll quickly mention a couple of comics on the Duck, and I have a character I introduced just in one panel, or in a couple panels in my comic Chatterbox, who is designed to be that kind of character. I'm coming up with cool gadgets for the character and some badassery. But it's a full face mask and probably never to be revealed. You might learn more about it about him or her, but you're not going to see much. So I have a character like that.
Hmm.
Jerry's comics, Jay's Internet Fight Club, he's got Sleeker, who's like a crime boss. She's like a buff woman, like all his characters are, and she's got a full face mask and a lot of like mystery to who she is. And Cosmos Song by Pepe has the castle staff are all these like women with robes. They're like Jawas, so it's like all blank. It's all just black. You can't see their faces except these two glowing eyes, and it makes the head servant lady very intriguing. So, and a big part of that is not seeing the face. It's as effective as a mask. It's all just blackness. So, yeah.
Go check them out.
Check them out.
Awesome. Well,
And eventually Inhabitants is going to have a mask, but the character isn't masked all the time. So if that's what you're looking for, just don't even try to read it.
You can read it for other reasons.
I don't need your pity.
Yeah, pretty much. Pit Judge
He's
dredges
pit face,
him
not pity
constantly. Pity face. Pit Judge dredges
What's that,
him.
Oz?
Pit is Judge dredging him constantly, so he's too cool to keep his mask on.
You keep your mask on, baby, but that's all.
Sexy. All right. Well, we better wrap it up now.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, people. Thank you kindly.
Thank you.
Pay no attention to the QUACKCAST behind the curtain.
Behind the mask. All right. See ya.
Bye.
Ciao.